Find product links below and hundreds more videos on my channel.
Hey guys, welcome back. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Nitsan. I'm a filmmaker and photographer here in London, and today I'd like to talk to you about the Laing P-03 stabilizer. Now, this is based on the Glidecam design, and it's taken a few other things from other stabilizers too, but so far this is the closest anything has ever come to a Glidecam. And the reason I'm saying Glidecam is because that is my base standard. So far that's one of the best and one of my favorites, and I really do feel that this is really a fantastic alternative option to the Glidecam, and at about half the cost, depending on where you are and where you're buying it from. So build quality on this is absolutely fantastic, in fact better than the Glidecam. It doesn't feel as fragile as the Glidecam, even though the Glidecam works, hasn't broken on me so far. It is a little bit wonky at a place where someone else had broken it. I sort of bent it a little bit, and it still flies really well, but it doesn't feel as sturdy as this, not even close. This thing, even though it's about the same weight as the Glidecam, it feels like it's going to take a beating, whereas the Glidecam feels like you have to be really careful with it, and I cover it in foam when I travel with it, and so with this thing I'd be much happier just throwing it around a little bit more. Now, camera usability and quick release on this is great. You can use the one that comes with it, or you can use your own system like I do, and with your own system you can take the camera off, and then when you put it back on, you know that if you just center it like that, you know that it's basically balanced, and you might want to then fine adjust it just a tiny bit, but generally you won't have to. Or you don't have to use that. By the way, that's a Giotto's one. I do have a review about that. I'll have a link below. And if you don't want to use one of those, what you can do is you can simply remove this. By the way, this does have a very good safety system on here. You have to press this to release the camera. So that's really nice to see. This is much better than the Glidecam's own quick release system, but to me it's not a big issue since I always use my own quick release systems on top. And then once you want to put this back on, that goes in there like that, and then you will want to fine adjust it. And what I do is I always have these sort of half locked when I'm adjusting it and flying it, so that I can adjust it like this. As you can see, it's moving, but it's not going to sort of adjust, it's not going to move on its own from where it's balanced to. So the weight of the camera isn't going to move it. And so right now I can see that it's not balanced, so I'm just going to move it forward a little bit more, a little bit more. It's quite easy to balance, quite fast, and generally within 10 to 30 seconds it's going to be balanced. So really nice on that regard. Really nice to balance, and we have fine adjustment knobs here, and I won't use any camera stabilization system like this that does not have fine adjustment knobs. So what we have here is lock for forward back, and then we have the adjustment for forward back as I've shown you, and then we have the lock for left right, and then the fine adjustment for left right. And these work really well, just like on the Glidecam. And on some stabilizers that do have this, they don't work as well. There's a little bit of sort of issues with them, or they're too stiff or whatever. With this, they work really, really nicely. Now, down to camera switchability, this thing has the ability to move that up and down. So this whole piece, which is what the gimbal is attached to, that can move up and down just by releasing that. And that'll move up and down on the first section of the pole, and then the second section of the pole will be able to adjust for fine adjustment. So that's going to be your weight adjustment as a more fine control, and that will go all the way up to here. What that means is you can put a 5D on here or something heavier. Most cameras that you guys will be using, this will take without any problems, just using 2 weights, and it comes with 10. So with those 2 weights you can use basically anything from a 5D with a really big lens and maybe a rail system. Not that I would really use a rail system on here, but just something really heavy, because you can have this extended down, so that'll have that balanced for a really heavy system, and all the way down to an NEX camera, and that's where you would move this down a little bit and you would have this quite high up, and you could have an NEX camera or an iPhone or a GoPro. In fact, earlier I balanced it with nothing at all. And so that means that you don't have to mess about with the weights like you do on Glidecam. On Glidecam it is a little bit annoying to change weights around, whereas on this thing you don't ever have to, and you don't have to carry spare weights with you, because it will work with all your cameras. If you do need to add extra weights, then it does come with a bunch, but you generally don't need to do that. So another thing is these weights are easier to remove and add than the Glidecam. The Glidecam has 2 of these and they're a bit annoying to remove, so that's another plus point to this. Now it does fold just like the Glidecam, and it does require an Allen key or a hex key right there and right there to remove this piece and this piece from the center pole. But I find that actually just takes about the same amount of time as a Glidecam, so it's not at all an issue. I just have to keep that in my pocket, undo that, and then with the Glidecam it unscrews. So that piece sort of unscrews and this piece unscrews. So it actually takes about the same amount of time, so that's all fine. Now, it is, apart from that, there's not really much to say. It does fly really, really well. I do find that when I fly it, I want to keep my fingers on here really, really gently and sort of just to help control it a little bit. But, you know, it doesn't want to swing or tilt on you. It doesn't want to, the shake isn't going through from your hand. And this actually helps eliminate shake too. Having your fingers here does help you get a little bit more stability, but it's not that it's really making a huge difference. It's just how I like to fly this. And I have posted already an example flying this with a, I believe it was with an NEX6 camera. So I'll have a link to that below, but generally flies really well. And yeah, really definitely a highly recommended product. Something I would be happy to use. Something that's much cheaper than a Glidecam, which is the only alternative so far that I've seen that's really, really worth its cost. However, this thing is about the same at half the price. So for me, this is a really fantastic system, and I really do recommend it. So I'll have a link to this below, and if you have any questions, ask me in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.